there's a brand new weapon in town. This week's Tides of War challenge unlocks the P08 pistol carbine in Battlefield 5, and with it there's also a new class of weapons called, wait for it, the pistol carbines. This is actually, believe it or not, a recon weapon now. It's not really that recon-y though. So now in recon you've got bolt actions, self-loading rifles and the pistol carbines. Next week recon also will get the anti-material rifle class as well. More on that later. Now I'm sure there are some of you who are thinking, hold on a minute, this gun looks familiar, and well, if you've played Battlefield 1 then you'll probably have come across a version from that game, and of course this weapon is also based on the pistol, the P08, which also features as a secondary weapon in BF5. So what's the deal with this then? Well, first of all, it's essentially a more powerful version of the pistol with a higher magazine count. It's got a drum magazine at the bottom and a longer stock for stability. This means that you can use it at longer ranges, and in fact you can be pretty successful with this gun even at medium range. At long range the damage definitely drops off quite hard and it's much harder to hit targets, although you can equip 2 and 3 times scopes. I have to say though, I love it. It just offers up something really different for the recon class. It's quite surprising. And I know there are plenty of aggressive snipers out there anyway, but this gives you something a lot more close range, and if you're accurate enough and can click fast enough, you can really delete multiple players pretty fast. To be fair, it's quite similar to the version that was in BF1. Initially it started life as a tank and pilot weapon, so you may not have seen that much of it. It's only got a rate of fire of 360 rounds per minute though, and that is really down to you to utilise with your fast clicking, but it does have 33 rounds in the magazine. So you don't often get into a situation where you'll run out of ammo. There's plenty to go around because at closer ranges it deals a ton of damage to take someone down. I mentioned earlier you can put a 2 times scope and even 3 times scope on this gun if you want, and the 3 times scope I just think works brilliantly for medium range, but for me I enjoyed the iron sights most on this gun just because I kind of love running around without a scope and taking more close quarter engagements. Sometimes iron sight weapons just feel more rewarding, I suppose. The question is, was a weapon like this actually used during the wars? Well, it turns out that it was. It was referred to as the artillery Luger, and if you remember Battlefield 1, it was indeed called the P08 artillery. This was because it was initially intended for German artillery units who didn't want to carry around the heavy and long K98 sniper rifles. It was also used by aviation units prior to planes being equipped with machine guns, which makes sense from a Battlefield 1 point of view as it was a weapon that pilots were able to choose. And the famous infantry Stoßtruppen or stormtrooper units frequently used the artillery Luger equipped with a new larger magazine, the 32 round Trommel magazine or Snail magazine. Interestingly, the LP08 or Langer's pistol production was suspended in 1918, but it restarted in the early 20s, and existing pistols which had remained in storage were reissued during World War II to German artillerymen and Waffen SS units. So how do you unlock it in BF5 then? Well, this week's theme is much the same as last week's, as it is centered around combined arms. Of course, combined arms is not for everyone, so yeah, thankfully you can complete the weapon unlock by just playing multiplayer if you want. Although if you want every node, you're going to have to jump into the co-op mode if you dare. The first requirement is that you kill one enemy with a headshot in multiplayer or combined arms. I'm not sure that could be any simpler if you tried. After that, the top branch focuses on combined arms. The first node wants you to complete a combined arms mission within 8 minutes. I think if you jump into a mission with some friends, this should be pretty straightforward. It doesn't specify difficulty, so throw that baby on easy and just go for it. And then kill 25 enemies with headshots in a combined arms mission. Again, easy mode, that's your friend there. Get a sniper rifle or something and you'll get it in no time. Just line up those headshots nice and slowly. And the last node is to complete a combined arms mission on hard difficulty. Now, depending on how comfortable you are with the game, this could be quite challenging, so you may need to either get some friends on board for this or use the matchmaker, which is now in the game. The middle branch focuses more on multiplayer. The first part is to get 25 kills as a squad with either SMGs, LMGs, MMGs or assault rifles in multiplayer or combined arms. So you could combine this one with a combined arms mission and get this done at the same time. Remember, it is as a squad, so in multiplayer you should get this pretty fast with a full squad, and then as a squad earn 30,000 score in multiplayer or combined arms. This will definitely be faster to achieve in multiplayer I'd have thought. A full squad should be able to easily do this in one match, and as progress will save, you can always take 2 games if you need. There is an alternative to this, and that's to kill 3 vehicles as a squad in multiplayer, so if you happen to do that one first, then you can progress forward. Again, as a squad, you'll need to then resupply or revive 60 teammates in multiplayer. That sounds quite a lot, but because it's for the whole squad, you can tend to do this pretty fast. So the final node to get this week's gun requires you to get 20 headshots in a game of multiplayer as a squad. Getting this in solo, not that hard to be honest, maybe just time consuming, so doing it as a squad shouldn't take too long. This one is multiplayer only though, can't cheese that one in combined arms unfortunately. But there are 2 bonus nodes, and one of them is to deal 3000 damage using the P08 in combined arms or multiplayer, and the other is to get a headshot kill at a range of 50 meters or more in multiplayer or combined arms. So what about these specializations then? Well, I went for a different route with this gun than I usually do. Normally I'd go full accuracy, but because this gun already feels really accurate anyway, I opted to give myself some boosts to hipfire to allow me a bit more flexibility when I'm playing up close. So I went for quick aim, and then enhanced grips, which gives you extra range when hip firing, and then polished action, which reduces the penalty for firing from the hip, and then finally I went for some improved accuracy in aimed fire with barrel bedding. But honestly, improved reload could be useful here too, but with 33 bullets in the magazine, you aren't really reloading all that much in a hurry anyway. I tend to just reload when I think the coast is clear, but you can easily take down multiple opponents with 1 mag. So this ended up being left, 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 right, with the ones that I didn't choose being slings and swivels and the improved accuracy while moving. So that's the P08. It's pretty cool, interesting new way to play on the recon class. Anti-material rifle though next week, that's going to be something else. Okay, moving on from the new weapon for a second, there is a small update on Firestorm, and more specifically the duos mode. When Firestorm released with only solos and squads, some players thought it was a little bit odd because duos in most BR games tends to be one of the better modes. Duos was then added in, but sadly removed not long after because it was only ever intended to be a limited time mode. Lots of players expressed their love of duos, and so DICE responded by adding it back in with no time window for removing it. Sadly that time window has come and gone, and if you log into the game today, duos are no longer available. I imagine that this will upset some players who have been enjoying duos, but DICE seem to suggest that there wasn't as much as a demand for it as people think. They've said that since they added it back in, most players are playing squads and not duos, and as such, they've decided to remove it. It seems as though this could be a result of the amount of people playing Firestorm, or maybe the players who are jumping in genuinely just prefer to play squads. The worry for me, of course, is that if duos has been removed because there aren't enough players playing it, then that opens up some concerns about the overall player base of the mode. I think Firestorm needs some new content quickly and hype building around it for the next few months to keep people interested in it, and of course some improvements to looting. The best solution would be to go free to play. Is that ever going to happen? I doubt it, but that's the correct answer. There's also been a little bit of information on Outpost Mode, which is coming on June 13th. Outpost is a multiplayer mode where 2 teams compete to be the first to reach a set number of recruits. But it says here that earning recruits is done by constructing radio towers on the map, and then you use your toolbox or your fortification tool to build and upgrade these objectives, and then plant explosives to destroy the objectives that belong to the enemy. Now that's going to be a limited time game mode. It sounds kind of interesting, to be honest with you, and I'd love to get my hands on that soon. Maybe they'll have it on offering at EA Play because it's around that kind of time. We'll see. Either way, Outpost sounds interesting. Looking forward to it. So to finish up, a bit of fun. A new Easter egg was discovered. Load up your battlefield and head to the main menu, and then to your company. Once there, on PC, type in the word tractor. There isn't any field to type it into, just type away on your keyboard and see what happens. There it is. So DICE made a wonderful page just for the fabled Firestorm tractor. My personal favourite parts of this are the stats. Acceleration, of course, very bad. Defense is pretty decent, but without any weapons to speak of. Of course, the offensive capabilities are extremely poor. Awesomeness, however, well, that's through the roof, and of course, its primary targets are corn. Hopefully, those tractors on the RAS can be player controlled soon, because BF5 is definitely missing some of those goofy, fun moments. And that's all for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've unlocked the new gun, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave a like if you liked this video, a dislike if you didn't, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.